live show. Oh my god, yes, here we go. We're here. We're back. I don't even remember what we did last time, to be honest.
We did the music one last time, right?
That's a lie. We did Sandman. It was me and you, Hawk, and it was an awesome
right.
episode.
Yes,
that was one of our deeper ones where we talked about our fears and emotions, and we cried into like those big, booby pillows that you get at anime conventions. Man, you guys missed out on the live. It was a lot cheaper than the real thing.
Usual therapist. Yeah.
We're not shaming sex workers. That is work. But we are Geeks with Kids. I am Eric.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know, because we were talking about how it's more expensive. I just wanted to make sure people knew.
I meant therapy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about sex workers. Anyway,
this episode's going right off the rails.
No, it's in the right. It's in the proper spot. I'm Eric. Joining me this week are the Michaels. Hi, Michaels.
Hey. Long time no see, guys.
Did I put Brent, I don't know where Dave is. He may have fallen asleep. We'll see. If he jumps on, he jumps on. We're gonna
not, sleep the sleep of the just, David.
I mean, it's fair. He's back in school, and like Shouse, I know you're gonna probably be exhausted this week. As all people who are in schools will be. My daughter tonight was just like, she did not want to go to bed. She's like, I don't want to go to school. I was like, you know what? I understand. She's in a single grade this year. Finally, she's been in split grade since JK. So wait, was she in split grade in grade 1? Yeah, she was. So and a bunch of her friends have moved away and stuff. So she's like, I was like, you'll be fine. You're gonna get to school and you're gonna forget about me. She's like, I want to hang out with you.
My mighty heart is breaking.
I know. I'm like, don't. My stomach hurts and I don't know what to say. Teach her how to get pink eye. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Is that the pillow thing? Because the farting in a pillow thing. I don't want that. I don't want to personally. I don't want to deal with that, Brent.
No,
it's just that's too much. It's too much. Anyway, we're here. We're gonna talk about the show that has garnered Prime Video's like fucking attention because it just like did gangbusters, right? It was like 25 million views in one day.
Their biggest viewing audience for any Amazon program,
although
ever.
What should have gotten that much numbers? Paper Girls. Go watch Paper Girls, people.
Paper Girls was good.
We're talking about the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. I'm not going to call it that full name because I think that's stupid. I'm just going to call it the Rings of Power. And we're going to talk about that after we do our regular thing, which is we talk about what we're liking right now. What's good? So let's start with Shouse because we haven't talked to him in a while. Shouse was good.
Yeah.
Brown
was
coat.
Good.
Is it that the war has ended? Have you won the brown coats? Have the brown coats finally won?
I aim to misbehave. That's what that is. I haven't. First of all, it's good to see you guys. I haven't been on for a little bit, but I'm looking forward to talking some Lord of the Rings today.
Brent has suggested LOTROP as the abbreviation for Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. LOTROP.
I like it.
And
I think that needs to be somebody's license plate.
Oh wait, it should be Loaderop. Loaderop? Oh, I hate it. Anyway, sorry, Shouse.
No problem. No, I was saying it's too bad that Brent's not on here because like if I was gonna go through sort of what my current yums are, he's gotten me into a couple of games. I've been playing Power Wash Simulator. And,
I'm surprised you haven't played that before. I had that game for like a year. It's phenomenal.
I got into what was that one? House Flipper. I picked up House Flipper and I was playing it on my Steam Deck where you got to fix up a house and you got to try to sell it for a higher price and stuff.
Power
and then I was like,
way more soothing because.
Oh yeah.
Did you do the Mars rover yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet. I'm working on the playground right now, like a kid's playground. But it's fun. I've been playing that. I've been playing Cult of the Lamb. I just picked that up on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, cool. that game is. I'm having a blast with that one. But the thing that I wanted to show you guys today is I picked up this little guy right here.
Oh, you got the Backbone one.
Hey.
So this is the Backbone for the PlayStation. It's a PlayStation branded Backbone, which is pretty cool. And basically it lets you do like remote play.
This is when his connection dies to the podcast because he's like, I can't. I just hardwired today.
Yeah. No, I'm still good, right? I'm still in.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's as soon as I connect and start doing that. No, but it's pretty cool. Like it gives like to pop your phone in there and it gives you like a nice grip. I was playing a little bit of Call of Tsushima. And
Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, that's the one. I was having some fun with that one, and I was playing some Miles Morales on there.
The remote play, how's it work? Fine.
It was going fine, yeah. It all depends. You know what? The Vita worked pretty well. What I didn't like about the Vita is that the Vita didn't have L2 on it, right?
Yeah, you had to use the back pad.
Yeah, and so this has got L1 and L2 on it, which is really nice. What it doesn't have is the PS5's pressure sensitive button in the middle there. So you have to tap on your phone right in the middle of your phone to get that to trigger, and it doesn't always work
for the pad.
Yeah,
that thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work, and I find that a little bit annoying.
Does it vibrate?
No, no. There's no haptics or anything in this thing.
Boo.
It just basically they got the license for the name. It's got the PlayStation logo on the back here, and they have the white look that looks a little bit like the DualSense controller, but it's pretty fun. So I wanted to share that.
Nice.
I'm sort of having some fun with this one, and yeah, so that's sort of what I've been up to.
Brent was saying that he's looking forward to playing House Flipper because he does that in real life. So, our Sony reps sent us the info about the Backbone one. I guess when it was announced a month ago, I think. So, and yeah, everything that they sent looked really cool, and it looks really nice. I haven't done any of the remote play for PS5 because I don't find a need for it right now. If I'm gonna play in the bathroom, I'm just gonna wait.
Your bathroom is 10 feet away from your console.
It is.
That's what wireless controllers
are
for.
10 feet away. No, wait. No, that's like 15, 20 feet.
Oh,
that's too far. That's too far. Like, there's my couch. My bathroom's just right there. Man, nope.
You got to get your TV on one of those carts, that they used to bring in your classroom.
Or
show you Bill Nye episodes. You bring
what I should
TV,
do?
You wheel it over to the bathroom.
I'll just put a TV in the bathroom and do an HDMI switcher, and I can just switch straight there. That makes sense.
Just have a controller just sitting next to the toilet paper.
I like it.
There we go.
Right in the toilet, like an old toilet paper roll. It's just in there, like the half side. I like it. I think that's a good idea. What about you, Hawk? What are you liking? You liking Destiny? Is that what you're liking?
Oh, Brent's gonna take over your bathroom wall for you.
I've been playing Destiny. Yes, I downloaded the free Wish Queen. And not expansion, not the whole thing on that.
Apparently they had the expansion for a while, but like a week or two, they did like a big Bungie celebration.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's pretty cool, and the glaive is neat.
The glaive is neat. See,
yeah.
There are some. I don't know if you have access. Do you have access to building weapons? Because
apparently I have access to all that stuff in the relic, and
that part is actually really neat.
Enclave. That is actually pretty cool. But no, that's not my yum this week. So my yum this week is a series called The Old Man. It's from SFX. It's streaming currently in Canada through Disney Plus. 7 episodes. Jeff Bridges, probably the first thing he did since he successfully beat his cancer. And he is fantastic in this series. It is so good. It's based on this novel by Thomas Perry. He plays an old man, known as Dan Chase. He lives alone after the death of his wife, with his 2 big Rottweilers. These very well-trained Rottweilers. Anyways, a man breaks into his house one night, carrying no identification and a silenced pistol. His dogs quickly take him down in that, and Dan ends up killing him. And then grabs a go bag and goes on the run after giving his police report, because apparently he used to be, he's a former CIA operative and that. And the man was there to collect him because of something that happened back in the 80s when Dan was working in Afghanistan.
Is this based on a real story?
I don't know. I doubt it's based on a real story, and that it's definitely based on some stuff like back in the 80s and that back when Afghanistan was occupied by the Russians, and the U.S. was sending intelligence officers over there to aid the Mujahideen to drive them out. And the character he plays was apparently earned himself a nickname among the Russian troops, and that I can't remember the Arabic word for it, but it roughly translates to the monster.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
And you can see why. There's the first episode. It starts out so slow, and it's like, oh, it's this story about aging and the death of a spouse and blah blah blah. Second half is like action based and really well done. Direction was great. John Watts from Spider-Man series did the first 2 episodes. Oh. He's also an executive producer on the show.
Nice. Who else? John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Yeah. Aaliyah Shawkat.
No, Joel Gray's in this. Oh shit. That's Broadway royalty there.
Yeah.
I got really excited for a person that no one know in our chat. So that's pretty funny.
There was also another actor. He was great. I have trouble pronouncing his name though. Hold on. One sec.
Who does he play?
Back. Hold on.
Does he play Julian Carson? Gabenga Akinab?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, Julian Carson and that. Gabenga Akinagaba. I really hope I pronounced that right. But, yeah, anyways,
sorry.
He's an alumni from The Wire in that he played Chris Partlow in that, one of the scariest characters of the series.
Oh, I recognize him. He was in something else that I've seen. I'm not gonna look up his IMDb because there's a lot. He was in 24, Live Another Day. that was the bad one. What was it called? That was that was the British one when Jack Bauer does 24 hours in Britain. It's different because it's in Britain. Yeah, and it had the Stark mom in it. What's her name?
Oh, Catelyn?
Yeah, Catelyn. Michelle
Farley.
Fairley, yeah.
Fairley.
Yeah, she was the bad guy in it. So, they had that. And it was in 2014, so Game of Thrones had been in its 3rd or 4th season by that point?
Third.
When did Game of Thrones start?
2011.
Yeah, you're right. Shit. How do you remember these things? Your mind is like an encyclopedia of random stuff that I wish I still had. The internet has beat that shit out of my brain. Like all like the fandom, certain fandoms have just been like, you know what? Goodbye, Star Wars knowledge. You've left my brain. What else? Lord of the Rings, you're out there too. Well, now it is. So yeah, here we go.
Anyways, if you're looking for a good series and that, it's a political thriller. It's all sorts of things in that. But Jeff Bridges is amazing in it.
As you can hear, I'm typing. Yes. I feel bad. I didn't confirm the day that we were doing a show tonight, and I really should have. The last couple of days have just been fucking, Anyway, as I'm feeling sick, our conversation tonight is going to be fun because we're going to chat. It's just going to be a fun, geeky conversation. If we had beer, you guys should have beer. I have tea because I feel gross. That's what we're going to do. Water. Now, water, you guys are more responsible. Like I also have water here, but I'm going to cover that logo because we're not sponsored by them. We could have been sponsored by something else, but I forgot to activate that. Anyway, that's not important because my yum is sorry, excuse me. A concert that happened on Saturday night that was broadcast on was it Saturday night or Friday night? I think it was Saturday night. That was broadcast everywhere because it was the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert. So it was 6 hours of amazingness, and it was Taylor Hawkins was the drummer for Foo Fighters, and he tragically passed away a number of months earlier this year. We talked about it on the show, I believe. At least we mentioned.
I think it was mentioned at some point, yeah.
And they did this beautiful tribute show to him. It's one of 2. They're doing another one later in September in LA. This one was in Wembley Stadium. So the same stadium that they did the Queen tribute for Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
a number of years ago, the early 90s.
Is it still Wembley Stadium, or is it called the O2 or whatever?
O2 is a different arena. It's bigger, and the talent that they had on stage was incredible. They had
amazing.
They had parts of Stones of the
Queens of the Stone
Queens
Age.
of Stone Age. Like Josh Homme was there. They had the singer from The Darkness who did the fucking greatest. Like he was amazing. He had a giant silver jumpsuit on, like Freddie Mercury, which Taylor used to also wear. So that's fun. Taylor's favorite band was Queen. His first show he saw when he was 10 was Queen live. So he was a big fan, and he used to perform Somebody to Love live on tour. When I saw Foo Fighters, they ended up doing a Nirvana song, which was really weird because he had his long hair and he was playing guitar, and he sort of looked like Kurt Cobain when I was watching it. And I was also very stoned because they were right before Chili Peppers. No, wait, that was a different concert. Anyway, wait, was it that concert? No, that was Stone Temple Pilots. Never mind. Forget me. Many concerts, many stoned experiences. Anyway, it was a beautiful tribute. They ended up also bringing out a bunch of the kids. So Dave Grohl's kid came out and sang a bunch of Jeff Buckley songs, and she's phenomenal. She's 16. And then Taylor Hawkins' son,
16 years old.
Also, he's also 16.
It was incredible.
And he ended up drumming the final song, not the final song, the second last song of the evening, which was My Hero. And he was just pitch perfect.
Yeah.
They also had a bunch of announcers like talking in between the sets. They had the change to the setups, obviously, because they had a billion drummers there. They had like Travis from Blink-182 and obviously the Queens of Stone Age had Dave. And that little girl that got internet famous for doing a drum challenge with Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Her name's Nandy. She ended up drumming as well that night. She did Learn to Fly, and she had a jacket that had Taylor's picture on the back. It was amazing.
Did Alanis Morissette show up?
No, I assume she's gonna be in the LA one, right?
She should be in that. Yeah, Taylor Hawkins was her drummer in that for the her
first two tours, I think, right?
Yeah.
He was in the video for You Ought to Know, and I remember seeing him for the first time. I was like, that guy has awesome hair.
Was he in the video? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was part of the band in there. And he
was. He didn't
play
this concert out like on a DVD or something.
It's supposed to be on POV in a couple of days. Wait, POV? That's not right. VOD. POV is point of view. VOD in a couple of days. It was you could have rented it the day of on Saturday. It was 6.5 hours long, so it was a bit long.
It was being streamed on the MTV YouTube channel.
Yep, it was also on Paramount Plus, and I want to say it was on something else. I think you can still watch it on Paramount Plus. I don't know because I don't have Paramount Plus because I have nothing to watch on there other than Star Trek. Anyway, but you can watch that on Space in Canada, so whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you get a chance to watch it, it's a beautiful tribute to him. Dave Grohl, the band all choke up. They have amazing stories. Dave Chappelle has a lovely story about when he met Taylor Hawkins when he hosted SNL in 2020.
Yeah.
And how he saw him as a dad for the first time and how amazing that was. So yeah, check it out. It was sad. It was beautiful though. I imagine this is how it felt. I was too young when Freddie Mercury died, and I ended up loving the music a little bit after he had passed away. But I assume the fans of Queen at that time felt the same way when they saw that concert, which was also on pay-per-view, I think.
It was actually live streamed, and the whole Freddie Mercury tribute. It was live streamed across. I watched it on Much Music. Back in the day.
Oh, when Much Music used to play music.
Oh yeah.
How strange. Oh man.
Right? What a novel concept.
Yeah, so normally we do the news. Is there anything also the concert? I didn't realize that Eddie Van Halen had an amazing guitarist son named Wolfgang Van Halen. He's amazing. Yep. Holy shit.
Yeah. Of course, his dad was Eddie.
Yeah. Well, talent doesn't always go down. Any other?
You're doing homework. Put down that homework and pick up your guitar, please.
Any news that you guys want to talk about? I know Top Gun Maverick is now the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. That happened over the weekend, so that's fucking crazy. That movie's amazing. So
I watched it. It was visually, it was very amazing. Story wise, it was it
was Star Wars. The ending,
and a little bit of behind enemy lines too.
Yes, it was Star Wars, and then they finished it, and they were like, you know what? Let's add it behind enemy lines. Wow. Last of Us had their first little preview. It was like 30 seconds. We all I sent it to you. Is that like? Did you? Yeah, a long time ago. The movie, the TV show. It looks good. Right. What else? John Williams played one of the themes from the upcoming Indiana Jones movie, like Indy 5 at the Hollywood Bowl.
His last movie, right?
His final time scoring a film or television series. He's still gonna do, symphonies and stuff. Nothing like it's too time consuming and it's a little more stressful, strenuous, especially for someone who's 90 to do a film. Wow. Although he did say he would love to score a James Bond film. So that's just what the next person. You know what? I don't know. John Williams doing a James Bond. It's not his style.
No,
it's not his style.
But then again,
who knows? It's John Williams. He can do anything. What else? There's I don't know. Yeah, sorry, go.
There's a Rick and Morty ad for God of War Ragnarok that is premiered, I think, today.
Oh, I did not know about that. I'm gonna have to check that out later. It might be in my email that I haven't checked because I've been feeling sick all day. Could you imagine? There's Star Trek news apparently. There was I
should keep up on this.
At Las Vegas, but Star Trek Las Vegas, Kate Mulgrew had a panel and they talked about her coming back, and she said that there have been talks about doing a live action reprisal of that role in some form.
Admiral Janeway.
That would be amazing.
When they finished the 3rd season of Picard, you're just gonna have Janeway will be the next show.
There's a lot of people that'll tune in for that.
I would watch that.
I'd watch it.
I want to know what happened to her. All I saw was it First Contact where she showed up and was like, the Borg I'm over here and we don't want you to come over. I'm pretty sure that was First Contact, right? Where she showed up right before they went and attacked the Borg outside of Earth.
Don't remember if that was her.
I'm pretty sure that was her. God damn it. Anyway, that's not important. The last piece of news that I want to say is that at DragonCon over the past weekend, Eddie McClintock, who was
yes, I heard this.
Oh my God, calm down. Who was the lead in Warehouse 13? I don't know if you watched this show, Hawk, and if you haven't, you really should. It was a fantastic show about this.
Oh, I loved Warehouse 13.
About this warehouse, where these agents would deal with mythical objects and they would have to house it in the warehouse.
Like, think of the last scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
But
and then put a whole show around that.
Yeah,
I remember this
inside that warehouse.
I followed it regularly, but I do remember this show.
And it was also like the creator of that had created 2 other shows, Alphas and Eureka. Eureka something. I can't remember what the second half of that. And they were all interconnected in this world, and they would occasionally cross, and it was fucking awesome. Anyway,
Alphas was the best show about mutants. That wasn't it,
Yes, and then it didn't take off because they had it at a weird time, and it's sci-fi, and they're like, "Fuck it, you know what? We're gonna cancel it." And I'm like, "Fuck you, sci-fi.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck you." Anyway, Eddie McClintock talked about that him and Alison Scagliotti, who played Claudia on the show, have been in serious talks about rebooting that franchise. So apparently it's moving forward, which would be amazing. I hope it's not a full reboot and it's a continuation of this world. They sort of closed off the story, like they went into the future and like, oh, these and they had these newer agents in the future saying, "Oh, these people were all legendary." And Claudia, who's played by Allison, was like the caretaker at that point. But it would be cool to see her take that role, it'd be neat. Like, I want to see more of that world. I was really sad when that show ended. It was fun sci-fi that, we get very serious sci-fi.
Yeah.
But this was like serious. Like, this was funny. It had one of the Ashmore brothers in it. I think it was Aaron.
Ashmore.
Aaron.
It had Saul Rubinek.
Saul Rubinek was amazing on that show.
He was the best.
Joanne Kelly, also Canadian, was the other lead.
Jamie Murray in that. She played Lila in season 2 of Dexter.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of people. Was she not in like one of the anyway? CCH Pounder, Farhan Tahir, who was from Star Trek. He was the captain of the Kelvin. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Brent Spiner. There was a bunch of like Star Trek alumni and sci-fi royalty that would show up on this show randomly.
Yeah,
it was such a good show. Oh man, maybe I should rewatch that.
5 seasons. Yeah.
I kind of want to rewatch it now too.
It was created by Jane Espenson, who was a Buffy writer,
and a Battlestar writer too.
Yeah. She's amazing.
I remember seeing I saw a panel for Warehouse 13 at Fan Expo. Years ago, and it was awesome. They had the whole cast out there. It was great.
I remember meeting Allison, and I believe I've met Eddie and Saul. I never met what's her name, Joanne Kelly, unfortunately. Allison liked my shirt. I had a nerdy music sci-fi shirt on, and I was like, I don't know what to say. You talk back to me, as one does around famous people, right? That's how you act. Anyway,
super cool.
We're gonna talk about Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power, which just premiered on Amazon Prime Videos. Is it just Prime Videos or Amazon Prime Videos?
It's just Amazon Prime.
This is Prime. I always called it Prime Videos. Anyway, this series is not connected to the Lord of the Rings created by Peter Jackson, although a lot of we'll talk about the visual designs and sound effects and everything in the show, but
inspired.
It was inspired. Yeah. It also takes place about 1,000 years, maybe a couple thousand years before the events of Lord of the Ring and The Hobbit. And it follows the events of the Second Age, which is where, Sauron creates the rings, and then he creates the Ring of Power, and then Isildur ends up cutting off his. This basically the intro to Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah,
is the end of this age, which is what this show is about. It's supposed to be a 5-season series, the most expensive series ever created.
Mm-hmm.
Hawk, you sent me a story about how much it was. I can't remember how.
I just made a guess at it, but I know it's one of the most expensive series.
It is the most expensive, I think. Yeah. I think they said something like 63 million. No, that's not it. It's higher than that. They spent billions on the show.
Oh yeah,
billions.
And I mean, and Amazon has the money. They have the money to pay for something like that.
Did you hear what Jeff Bezos said about the show? So when they were thinking about taking up the rights, his son went up to him and said, "Dad," he's a big Lord of the Rings fan, or at least Tolkien fan. He said, "Dad, don't fuck this up." And you know what? Honestly, in my TLDR, my non-spoiler review, I don't think they did. I don't think they fucked it up.
It's quite good.
I enjoyed it at least.
Let's see. The budget for season 1 of The Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power clocks in at about $715 million.
Jesus, that's like, yeah, and that's not talking about like
the rights and everything,
the rights, like the marketing, which the marketing for this was everywhere. It was in front of every movie I saw this summer, which was not many.
This figure is on top of the $250 million Amazon spent to acquire the rights to the franchise, making it the most expensive TV series.
Oh no,
ever.
Hold on, we have disconnected.
Boo.
Uh-oh. I think it was Amazon. They heard you.
Yep.
I don't understand. And we're back.
We are back.
And we're back.
A little blurry. It's only a little blurry.
I don't understand. This doesn't happen when I podcast other places, which I find hilarious. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so ridiculous amounts of money. They have all the Lord of the Rings movies on Prime Video now, which is great because I was watching. They're just the regular versions. They're not the extended version. I know. I still gotta buy the 4Ks of them. I don't know why I haven't yet. Maybe it's because I have like 400 versions of. It's like, you know, when Star Wars keeps on releasing physical media, and you're just like, well, fuck. I guess I have to buy this one, right?
Visually, it's a little bit better.
This is why I didn't buy Spider-Man. What was it? The new one, No Way Home. Is that the new one?
No Way Home.
Because there's a new version coming out. It's out in theaters right now. It's #1 in theaters right now, which is really funny because nothing's in theaters. Anyway,
but even with the Amazon stuff, like even if you open up the Amazon app, I remember when just the other day I opened up the app to buy something and it completely took over the app. It just opened up a trailer and everything. Like they're not screwing around. They're like,
stop! I've already watched it.
I need to buy toilet paper.
You watched it. I've already subscribed. Stop it.
I watched this so many times. You know what's really funny? Shows the bed right behind you. That the post there looks very Lord of the Rings like.
Ooh, yeah.
It looks a little At first, I thought it was a staff. Elven tower. Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck. Shows is bringing out the elven beds for sexy elven times. I assume that's what's gonna happen on this show. I don't know. No one knows. Anyways, so the first 2 episodes came out on Friday, just this past Friday, and we're gonna chat about it. We'll do our non-spoiler review right now. Let's say 2-3 sentences. Let's go. Let's go.
It exceeded my expectations. I was excited to go back to Middle Earth. The way that they paced the show and the way that they had all of the different stories sort of overlapping kept things fresh. I found that kept things really interesting because at any one point you were sort of jumping around between all these different characters and it sort of kept you on your toes. And I think the pacing was really good. So that's my like 3 sentence.
It's crazy. Their main cast, this isn't like secondary characters. Their main cast is 22 people. That's like Game of Thrones crazy. K-Hawk.
Exceeded my expectations. I was deeply involved in the story that they were telling and was really loving the pacing and direction that it was told in. And I had something else to say. I can't remember. So far, I have absolutely loved all the casting in that. I think everybody's fits in perfectly with the story being told.
Exactly. I agree with both of you guys. I thought it was fantastic. When I first started watching it, I was like, well, shit. I'm watching it on my TV. I should break out the projector because this is a gorgeous, it's probably the prettiest TV show right now. It's the first 2 episodes. I know a lot of people are bitching about how slow it is. I didn't think it was slow. They're introducing this version of Middle Earth. It's different. This is a different time. The towns and cities and the makeup of the world is different. Like people are expecting to see hobbits and shit. Hobbits aren't around yet, people. They haven't evolved from the various tribes of Harfoots and whatnot. Halffoot. So, I love it. I thought it was gorgeous. I liked the cast. I thought they were all very compelling. Am I a fan of the changes? Yeah, you know what? They're a little weird, but you know what? Fuck it. It's a TV show. I did not expect to see this age because there's not much written about it. There's a little bit, you know, there are stories and there are pieces from it, appendices and such. And then, you know, Silmarillion touches on some. We're going to get another book this fall about the Second Age. So, you know what? I'm taking this as they're doing like 2,000 years in 5 seasons. How are they not going to condense that? They have to. They can't just have people fucking walking around, right? That's what they did in Lord of the Rings. Like, if you're pissy about the changes in Lord of the Rings, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Rings of Power is fine. It's good entertainment. I thought it was compelling, and I'm looking forward to more. Is this 10 episodes or is it?
8, unfortunately.
Jeez, we're so close to the end already.
They have a lot of material to cover within an 8-episode season and 5 seasons to do that. You know, it's a I'll say it. It's a Herculean task, you know.
We're going to go into spoilers now, people. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Sorry, go Hawk.
It's a Herculean task for anybody in that, especially bringing it to television and that. But it's like, from what I've seen so far, it has my complete confidence. It has my attention.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, the second age takes place over a couple thousand years, and we're definitely like shrinking this down into 5 seasons. What do you guys think about it? Like they're gonna have the motor and stuff through, I guess, what people assume. Like they're gonna have to have Sauron come back. He's going to disguise himself as an elf. He's going to teach Celebrimbor how to create the rings, which we saw the starting of the Forge in the first 2 episodes, which I thought was really cool. Did you guys play the Middle Earth games? The War of the what's it?
Oh, Shadow
of Mordor.
Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor. Well, wait a minute.
Shadow of Mordor and War of Mordor.
I think it was Shadow of War or something.
Shadow of War or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, Celebrimbor is like a main character in that too.
Yeah. The second one especially dealt with the ring, right?
It was terrible. Yeah. It was just fucking terrible. Yeah, so what did you think? Like, do you think we're gonna see the rings forged in this season, like already? Like that seems early for me, but I don't mind.
You see, like, I'm wondering if, like, the first season covers the making of the rings and that, you know, and then it kind of expands out. Early on, I kind of thought maybe, like, the 5th season would, you know, in the finale of it, and that would probably cover, like, you know, the battle. You know,
I assume the last season is going to be the big battle, like the battle you see where Isildur cuts off Sauron's hand.
Yeah, this is what I'm imagining. Which is weird because, like, you know, if it's covering that, like, you know, because that could occur like maybe 1,000 years later, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't remember how long the second age is. I should look it up. You guys can continue talking.
I think one of the things that's going to help with you're going over that amount of time is the fact that a lot of these races tend to live a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially with the elves, like they've like even at the beginning of the first episode where they were talking about Galadriel and her quest,
mm-hmm.
and her and the company of elves that were hunting for any signs of orcs in Middle Earth. They sort of say that took hundreds of years, that they were gone for hundreds of years,
mm-hmm.
like scouring every part of Middle Earth, and so that was just narration. But the idea that these characters can still exist, and we know that characters like Galadriel and Elrond exist within the time of the Fellowship. We'll be able to get used to some of those characters. I think maybe the human ones we're only going to see for a very brief amount of time. But that leaves room for, I guess, new human characters to be introduced each season, and then just keep the pillars of the elves and the dwarves and the characters that live longer, keep them across all the seasons.
So the second age lasted for 3,441 years. So that's a lot of material, but you know, not every day was exciting, I'm sure, in those 3,000 years, and things have to move at certain paces. 5 years seems like a good compression. Like, are you gonna have people wait for this fucking long? Like, God, that would be terrible. I mean, you could, I guess, do the end of that age, but because of how Tolkien wrote and how things took for such a long time. Even the Lord of the Rings took years, right? And it didn't seem like that on screen, and they definitely didn't portray it like that. But yeah, or at least months. I don't remember if it was years. I feel like it was years.
Yeah, like I remember that scene in Fellowship where Gandalf rides off to go and find out about
that did take years. Yeah,
where he goes back to Minas Tirith and he goes to look up like that took years, but in the movie it was just like I'm gonna run off and he's gonna come back.
It's like a 5-hour horse ride. It's fine. No, it's not like a month to ride down there, right? I'm fine with them compressing things.
Yeah.
I think that I don't want them to introduce things too early. Like I would, but then again, are they going to renew this? Prime seems to cancel things really fast. But they did spend a shit ton of money on this.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's this kind of like this idea, I think, like, what they call it, the theory of zero sum and that, like, when the zeros start adding up and that, it becomes such an unreal amount. They've committed for this, basically.
Yeah. This is their thing. They paid for it.
Yeah.
There's there's so many fans that are fighting for it too, because there's so many trolls on the internet that are fucking hating it right now. We'll talk about that later. So we talked about two of the characters. We talked about Elrond and Galadriel, who are characters that we'd seen in the original films / the Hobbit films as well. I don't like talking about the Hobbit films because they're bad. What do you think of the cast, like including those two actors who have, they have a big role to fill? They're characters we already knew, at least people who had seen the films, right? Or, read the books.
Well, first name I'll throw out would be Lenny Henry. Lenny Henry plays Sadok Burrows. Actually, I should call him Sir Lenny Henry, not because
I did not know he was knighted.
Yeah, it's a knighthood. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. First thing I noticed in that, Irish accents are so hard to do on, you either get it or you don't. He does a fantastic Irish.
Who does he play?
Sadok Burrows. He's like that lore keeper for the Half-Foots and that.
Yeah.
Okay. Notice, the
one who says the sky doesn't look right and all this.
The sky doesn't look right. The men are hunting in the areas they shouldn't. They're looking for something.
Did you know he's also in another fantasy series coming out soon? Did you know this? Huh? He's in The Witcher: Blood Origin, which is the prequel Witcher series with Michelle Yeoh. Fuck.
Okay.
Right? Oh, that's so exciting. More Lenny Henry anyway, man. Like he's fucking awesome. He was good. Yeah. I loved seeing this iteration of these halflings. I was gonna say hobbits. They're not hobbits. They're just small people. And seeing this earlier version of them, a nomadic tribe of them, and having these different people with different roles, and seeing them still pop up the tents, sort of like the hobbits do later. Like things still, there's a connection.
What makes them like not hobbits? Basically, I kind of figure like hobbits are, was the more civilized and settled when they actually acquired the Shire.
Yeah, I feel like that's the more of the them staking their own place, where the Harfoots were nomadic and they would walk around and hide and find places. Yeah, like them hiding from the hunters, which I thought were going to be a bigger part because they kept on showing them in the trailers, but nope, they're just walking across. Any other standouts? I can talk about this cast for ages.
I like the girl that played Nori. I thought she was really like full of wonder, and
she's the Hobbit where she's not a Hobbit, but I'm saying she's the Hobbit like Perry and Pippin and Merry, where you're just like they have that joy of excitement for going out, but don't know the dangers of going out.
Yeah.
And I will shout out another person connected to Nori, and that's the guy who played the Stranger, who is Daniel Wayman. I thought he was what's his name from that South African actor.
I know this guy. Hold on, let me look him up real quick.
He was Sharlto Copley. I thought he was Sharlto Copley for the longest time. I was looking at some. I was like, "Fuck, is that Sharlto Copley in this show?"
That guy has fallen so off the map. I don't know where he is now.
No, he does a lot of shit. Like he still does a lot of stuff, but he does his own thing.
Okay.
Which as an actor, you gotta appreciate.
Yeah, do your thing.
He was in Russian Doll not too long ago, so there's that. It was a good show. We'll talk about the Stranger maybe next, because there are lots of theories about who that person might not be. I think all of the Harfoots were fantastically cast, to be honest. I thought they were wondrous, and I thought I liked how scared they were of everything, of the outdoor world, and so superstitious of everything. Yes. Watching them I know a lot of people were bitching about it. I'm gonna just say, in general, a lot of people were bitching about everything on my Twitter this weekend, but I really liked them. I thought they did good, and we'll talk about the music in a sec, so I don't want to touch on that. I thought all the elves were wonderfully cast.
How about
Arondir?
Ismael Cruz Cordova.
He was
he was so good.
He has like a stare that just like envelops you. Because as soon as he started talking to that one dude in the bar, I was like, oh my god, I'm just like hanging on every single word you're saying. His eyes are just like piercing.
And that's how the elves were supposed to be. They were supposed to be so like grand and the way that they looked and the way that they acted and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he captured it beautifully.
He did. All of them, and like you'd get secondary elves that were sort of douchebags, and that's also how elves were supposed to be. Remember Lee Pace in the Hobbit movies playing Thandral?
Yes.
The father of Legolas. And he was the biggest douchebag elf, and I was sitting there like, that is how I pictured some of these elves. But they got some of that in this, and I really enjoyed that. Elrond, who's not full elf, I don't know if many people knew that he's half elf.
I did not.
He is.
I didn't know that either.
Perfectly, I think perfectly. This younger version by why did I lost it? I lost them. Oh my god,
Robert Aramayo.
Yeah, I instantly recognize him, and that is the guy who played young Ned Stark in season 7 of Game of Thrones. Yeah, that
oh
flashback.
My god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's great. He plays the politician. Like he's not quite the leader yet, and I think at this point he's not very respected amongst the elves. I think.
Like he's high enough up there that he's involved in everything, but I think he still hasn't made a name for himself yet.
I think because he's not full elf, he's not given the respect. I hope that gets played out more as the season goes on, and I hope so because I think that's really neat. I wonder if we're going to talk about his brother, and he has a twin brother who chose a mortal life and ended up dying before the series started, and that's how the Numenors were created.
So when you say he's not full elf, do you mean he's not a high elf? Or?
No, like he's half human.
Half human, okay.
Yeah, but still long life. Yeah. I believe he's half human. I may be wrong on that. I haven't read all my stuff in a long time, so my knowledge is sort of coming in and out. I thought he did a wonderful job. There's
this great sequence where he's about to go into the dwarf kingdom, and he says to Celebrimbor, he says, "You're good at your craft. Let me do mine."
Oh, that was such a good line,
and because he's up like the whole time he's in there, he's up to something when he's trying to get the dwarf's attention and everything. It's like he was playing that perfectly, and it was just so much fun to watch a character so full of confidence be able to do that.
Do you think he just gave up on purpose to put on a show?
Yeah, because he knew that the dwarves are full of pride, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarves, he had to win. He couldn't have beaten him. He had to let his friend win.
Yeah. No, right? I fully thought the same thing. That was such a smart politician move, and I look forward to seeing him get into that. He ends up also becoming general in that fight against Sauron eventually. So seeing him move through all these phases, it's gonna be fucking interesting. Like, how could you not be excited about this? Like, that just seems so neat. Like, oh man. The love interest of Arondir, Bronwyn, she was good. I thought she was fine. I don't really know. This is the human element that they have to add on, because
how about her young son and what he apparently has found?
Fuck him. Oh my god, that kid. Yeah, we can talk about that now. Like, well, you know what? Before we talk about the son, Morfydd Clark, who plays Galadriel, I think a lot of people are bitching about her because Galadriel's not what they expected. They expected this,
They're expecting, I think it has to do with like just basically the character of Galadriel now versus like the Galadriel we know from Lord of the Rings and that, who's magnanimous and almost ethereal, like above it all, right? And that this is a Galadriel who's like right in the midst of it,
and that's written in Tolkien's.
Yeah, her brother died pursuing Sauron. She took up the cause, and that even when and like everybody, all the elves at this point, they basically
she fought in that battle too against Sauron and Morgoth. So
Yeah, but it's important to note the elves at this point, like the High Council, is ready to say the war is over and everything is fine, but she is not.
Yeah, she knows something's up. She has seen the signs, and that sign, the Sauron sign, ends up being on this sword that the son of Bronwyn. I don't know the kid's name. He pissed me off so much.
So many names. There's so many names.
Theo is that kid. Oh my god, there's so many names. He finds a. I don't even know.
It's a broken sword. It's a hilt.
The hilt of a sword. So it must have been an orc's sword.
I don't know, because this series also is going to see the creation of the ring wraiths, right?
Yeah.
Which were the 9 human. I don't know.
9 kings, the 9 human kings, and that who were given the ring.
So I don't know how fast they're gonna. Like we said earlier, we don't know how fast they're gonna move. Like, is this kid gonna grow up and become one of the human lords, or is this like how Sauron starts coming back into the world because he empowers the sword, which is sort of like a Horcrux?
yeah. I was getting some of that Harry Potter there too. Yeah.
But it also seems to be like one of the first examples of him like using magic to bind his power to like an object, right? So this sword itself might just be like some sort of a test run of
like a proto ring.
Yeah, because remember, like the reason that when they found like with the whole thing with the snow troll and that cave and that, there was some sort of experiment going on there that Sauron was working on, and that but he hadn't succeeded yet.
Yeah. Or at least that we know of, right? Maybe that's where the sword was forged, and it maybe broke during that battle with the elves earlier. Oh man,
there's so many possibilities.
Like I don't I want to talk about the stranger, because this is one of the biggest mysteries, and it's how the first episode ended. There's a meteor-esque thing falling in the sky. Everyone's sort of like drifting off into their own little realms, but this sort of combines everyone's storylines, because they're all like drawn to it, obviously, because who sees a falling thing out of the sky often,
right? And
we find out that it lands right near Nori and the Harfoots, and it's this person, this human-esque person in flames, like in this giant crater. Flames aren't hot. And
flames with no heat.
This person. Well, didn't that the other Harfoot said that he can't be human because he wouldn't have survived that fall?
Yeah, true. And I don't think it is. What are your thoughts, Shouts? Let's go with you, because I know what Hawk's gonna say.
Well, I immediately went to Gandalf. Like immediately, especially the way that he was talking to the fireflies, the way that he was making the trees move and everything. Like he had this sort of connection with the environment, with nature. It very much felt like Gandalf.
Yeah, same. Like, initial reactions, like it would say it's Gandalf, and that just like, in the height, in the face, and that, and the fact that, he's adorned in a gray robe, there was also something that has to do with fire. There was a particular wizard associated with fire in the Lord of the Rings. I can't remember who it was, though. I'm
not sure. I also thought it was Gandalf, obviously. When I first saw him, and I was like, they can't bring Gandalf right away. Maybe it's Saruman, right? The greatest of wizards at that time. But like the Aenir, which is what the wizards are, they're like sort of angels that fell to Earth, or the Middle Earth. It's Tyrael. Wait, who are you talking about? What are you talking about, Dave? What's Tyrael?
From Diablo?
Yeah, it could be. Dave, you should just jump on, man. Angel that fell from the sky. Yeah, it is Diablo. I wonder, like, that's super early for them to. Gandalf calls himself the wielder of the flame of Anur when he fights the Balrog. One of his many names. Dave, you should just jump on, man. Just jump on. Come chat.
Warm.
We want to know what you think about this show. Damn, yeah. Gandalf, right? About 1,000 years too early, but
this is the problem, right?
Like when you're compressing the storyline, right?
He may not, but he may take that long to actually become Gandalf. You know what I mean?
That would be infuriating. I mean, it would be infuriating if he couldn't talk for such a long time. Like he has to be.
Well, he was asking. He wanted mana, right? He kept asking for mana.
Is that what he said? I should have put on subtitles.
I had subtitles on. He kept asking for mana,
like a little blue potion.
Yeah. He was running low on MP, and he needed to cast Fire 2.
That's fair.
He needs some Phoenix down.
What he needs to do is tell his party to go off. He needs to gather all the XP from fighting something, and then he'll level up. He'll get his level 2 robes. I guess they're gray, and then level 3 will be his white robes.
He needs to grind some XP.
He needs to grind XP. That's all we know. That's all we need to know. What do you think about this stranger, and what are your hopes for him in this season? Oh, I stumped you guys. You're just like, fuck, if it's Gandalf, where do we go? Like, does he start connecting with all the different peoples? Does he, like, what is his mission on, like, does he know his mission on?
He's obviously sent for a reason, right?
Like, could that be part of this? Is just him figuring out, like, why he's there, and like if he has no memory of why he's there?
It doesn't look like he has his memory, right?
So, like, him discovering his purpose.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. He's always been a little bit fuddled in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows more than he puts on, but he's still a little bit jumbly up there, a little crazy, one might say. I like him as a. Do you think the other wizards are gonna come in due time, or are they? Because we have him, we have Saruman, we have Radagast, and then the 2 blue elves, which I never ever remember their names. Do you think they're gonna come sooner than later in the season? Are they gonna come at all? Are they that important?
Possibly.
Like I assume Gandalf's coming because he, fan recognition.
Yeah, people want Gandalf.
Yeah,
because they know he would have been old, and like, I mean, if you're talking about historically accurate, it may have been a couple of thousand years too early, but he would have been old enough to have been technically alive around that time. Whereas you can't be like, I want Frodo. Where's Frodo?
Mm-hmm.
And he was also known by other names before Gandalf, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's had many names.
The Traveler or something.
I want like I wonder. Gandalf. Oh, you already said that. I wonder how much they're gonna try and tie into the movies. Like we said that it's not really connected. Like they didn't get Peter Jackson to come back. They had asked Peter Jackson for his input when they started doing the show many years ago, but they didn't end up getting it from him. Like not on Peter Jackson's account. They didn't end up sending the scripts. But they definitely took a lot of the design, a lot of the musical cues. Bear McCreary does the music for this, right?
Yes, he does.
Of course, fucking amazing composer, and it definitely sounds in league with Howard Shore's music. Like everything thematically feels like it's part of the Lord of the Rings. Do you think they're gonna connect more of those?
I noted Howard Shore was included in the credits and under music. I think they use at least part of his music for.
They may be referencing some themes too.
Oh shit! Dave's here.
Here's Dave.
Dave has arrived.
There he is.
Howard Shore did the theme for the show.
Oh shit!
All right, that was Dave. Everybody, we're gonna.
Good night, Dave.
Okay, bye.
Hold on. Oh no!
Hey!
I was like, God damn it! I was just setting everything up.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh my god! Why can't
the aesthetic of the show makes me think that we'll take as much influence as from Peter Jackson as possible, then not actually listen to anything he says because we're not going to actually send him any documents. Sort of like when they made the other DC movies, they were like, what if we, try and we'll get Christopher Nolan as an executive producer on Man of Steel, but then actually have nothing to do with any of the Batman movies.
Oh. He's kind of there in EP status only, and it's just like, yeah.
They want to pull on your familiarity, but not actually give that person any money
or creativity,
which is shitty. I wonder how much of it was also legality, because
New Line Cinema,
and all of that shit. but visually stunning. I think the graphics are probably some of the prettiest I've seen on TV. It's on par with any other fantasy I've seen, if not better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm watching House of Dragon and this, and like I watched both this weekend, and I'm way more intrigued by the Rings of Power than I am of whatever the fucking Game of Thrones game. What is it called? House of Dragon. I can't even remember. I've seen 3 episodes of it, and I still don't really care. I just want to see Matt Smith fuck shit up. That's really.
Did you watch the end of 3?
Yeah, that's why I said that. Dave, I know you're a fan of the novels and the Tolkien lore, and they did start compressing this quite a bit. 3,000 years into 5 seasons. What do you think of what did you think of them introducing the Aenor and all of these elements really early? Celebrimbor.
Well, we don't know. I mean,
Technically.
will they actually do this though? We don't know that the Harfoot storyline is happening at the same time as the other storylines.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
Right,
it's gonna
like-
be
No.
something like
It
that,
has to
eh?
because the meteor falls all across at the same
But
time.
there are 5 Astari, so we don't know that it's the same
Oh.
meteor, right? Like, technically Gandalf, Palando, whatever, and Radagast and everybody, they're supposed to show up on boats from Valinor.
Yeah.
But whatever. Meteor's cool, I guess.
Meteor's more visually.
I don't think they would do the fake out because there's already so much going on in the show, and I don't think the writers are creative enough to think about that, to like do a Tarantino and be like, this is actually happening 1,000 years later, you know?
Well,
Like,
they did the same thing in The Witcher, right? for the television series.
and some people didn't like that. They thought it was confusing, even though I thought it was great. But
Yep, me too.
yeah, people don't
Yeah,
always do well with.
people are dumb.
And then you'd also have to consider you would also have to consider that all those Harfoots would be long dead in like 100 years, probably.
Yeah, I
right?
think that's why they really wanted to compress everything, because you can't like introduce a new set of cast each season because you're like, here's 500 years, here's another 500 years.
Unless, because I mean, Gandalf gets a
Pretty cool.
ring, but Gandalf's given a ring so much later
Yeah,
as well, because he's given one of the Elven rings.
yeah.
But I think they might just try and skip that.
Well, so the first 2 episodes introduced Celebrimbor, who created the rings, through the help of Sauron, the skies.
Celebrimbor is like this master craftsman,
Mhm.
and then Sauron shows up as someone else and is like, would be cool to craft powerful rings, because the elves are already crafting plenty. They're making amazing magical artifacts already,
Mhm.
but like they didn't know how to craft rings. Like it's like there's a secret to crafting magical rings, and Sauron knows it.
So now I'm going to pose you a question. Celebrimbor wants to make this giant forge, right? To create magical things, like he already talks about, like they already mentioned the Cimmerals and how they can put these into rings. Do you think Sauron has already shown up and talked to him?
I don't think so. I think he just wants to make a thing so he can build better things. Like he needs to make Leonardo da Vinci's workshop, basically. Like he wants better tools as a craftsman. Crafts elf?
Yeah.
he wants better tools so he can harness more power. And I think what's going to happen is the strange, like, that's funny because we call, like, probably almost certainly Gandalf the Stranger, but the Stranger should actually be Sauron in disguise.
Yeah.
Right? Because like they don't know it's Sauron when Sauron shows up.
No,
right?
to be honest, it might be like we have like.
You think we've already seen Sauron?
They're giving us all these little, like he's in fire, and although you know what, I don't know. It's so confused. So there's so many things that could be. I hope it's
I
not.
can't imagine Sauron like talking to the fireflies and stuff like that. That doesn't seem like Sauron.
Although they died.
Well, Sauron also probably didn't need to fall from the sky. Like Sauron should have already been on Middle.
Yeah,
Earth,
he was there.
Sauron's-
He was fighting earlier.
Yeah.
And when I assume I'm going to see Sauron, I think he's going to be like we had talked about offline, Dave, a long time ago. He's supposed to be this like super pretty elf. Like
all the like elves are supposed to be really pretty, and all the elves are like, damn. When Sauron shows up, they're all so smitten because he's so good at lying But one of the things is that they say it in Frodo says it in the Fellowship when he meets Aragorn, and Aragorn's like, "How do you know I'm not a bad guy?" And Frodo goes, "I think an agent of the enemy would look fair but seem foul." And Aragorn laughs. He's like, "So you're saying I'm ugly, but I'm an okay guy." And it's true. Like that's the kind of thing is that like, you know, they come in this guise of, you know, Sauron appears beautiful but is, you know, secretly terrible.
So if Anson Mount shows up, we're just gonna be like, oh fuck, he's Sauron because he's so pretty. But
right.
You know, there's something a little bit off about him. The other storyline that's really intriguing me is the Arondir. He's that new elf, and I guess he's intermixing with these orcs, which are, I guess, supposed to be proto orcs or like a grungier version of orcs.
Should already exist at this point.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I like how grungy they look.
Well,
they
orcs and goblins are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just that they're called goblins by hobbits and orcs by men.
That's confusing.
Right? Like, and Uruk-hai are just like another mutation of orc.
Which doesn't come from Lord of the Rings.
Saruman creates them later.
Yeah.
So what do you think about his storyline, his sort of love with a human?
I think it's the best part of the show. It's the thing they totally made up. None of that stuff. Like they're in southern Mordor. None of that's like, oh, we're gonna like reclaim these lands and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Like that's a way more interesting storyline than. I don't even know if they're gonna be able to tell the whole story because they only have the rights to the Lord of the Rings. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales.
Oh,
so I don't know how they're telling the other half without being able to use certain things. Like apparently they can say Morgoth, but they can't say Melkor. So they're always going to call him Morgoth as the enemy. But I don't know. That's a much cooler storyline to go through and be like, what is something Tolkien didn't explore? What's something that we can explore? And the relationship between the peoples here, because clearly a lot of people don't like the elf. You know,
I love
the
that.
elf.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because the elves are assholes, right? Like, could you imagine?
And they're sort of like they're looking over the humans, right? They're in a police state, more or less.
They're occupiers, basically, over conquered people.
And elves in Lord of the Rings are super people. They have superpowers. They can see beyond the horizon. They're literally stronger than any human. They live forever.
They can surf downstairs with a shield. I mean,
they're like the show could be, if they wanted it to be, basically a fantasy superhero show because the elves can do that stuff.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see them do some fucking cool stuff. And I guess we sort of like, what do you think the orcs are there for? Like they're digging holes, and are they amassing an army for this comeback, or
maybe conquering the land? And like he said, like Dave referred to it as South Mordor, right?
Yeah.
Very, very, very quietly trying to take over.
I love that we get maps in this show, and they show how different it is. Like this is a Middle Earth that we haven't explored on screen yet, and it's very different than what we've seen. Like next episode, and I'm just assuming this based on everything we've seen, we're gonna go to Numenor, which was the homeland of Aragorn's people, the half-elven people that live 3 times the length of humans, and like that
and they're 8 feet tall and they're super strong.
I don't think they're gonna do the 8 feet tall thing
because they didn't do it in. That was the thing in Lord of the Rings where it's like everybody should know Aragorn's the king right away. It's like because that guy's a Numenorian, like he's 8'3", and we're normal sized humans at like 5'10". Or,
he wasn't even the tallest amongst the bunch.
Yeah, Aragorn is taller than elves and men and hobbits and and everyone's just like, sure.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I like that Galadriel's going to be the one that ends up going over that way. And her human friend, which I don't remember his name. He didn't really...
He's made up for the show.
Yeah, he didn't really like capture my interest yet. But he hasn't done anything other than paddle and save her.
I suspect he'll be like a point of view for Galadriel to like learn about humans because she really shouldn't have had a lot of interaction. She's been around for 6,000 years or whatever already, but she's just all the elves just get to chill for so long.
Well, like I was saying to these guys earlier in the show, like in the books, she's supposed to be just like chilling out at this point, like walking around, meeting her husband, and then walking around with him, right? So I like that she has this quest that she's on because I assume by the end of the season, all these 22 people are gonna have to fucking get together, right? Like something's gonna have to happen to bring them all together.
Well, the end of the show has to be the final battle, right? Right,
yeah.
where Elendil cuts off Sauron's fingers or whatever.
Isn't it Isildur?
Okay.
Isildur.
Yeah. And we're gonna meet Isildur in this probably next episode.
Well, that's really
because he's supposed to be fairly young. Yeah.
How long did Isildur live for?
I don't know.
Because we're like still 1,000 years away.
I don't like we were saying earlier. I don't think they're gonna do the full thousands because you can't. Everyone would be dead.
Isildur was born in the Second Age and lived until the second year of the Third Age, and he died at 234. And we're like 2,000 years, I think, away from the from the Third Age. So,
is there an event you want to see happen at the end of? Like, do you want to see the rings start being created at the end of the season? Shows. Or is it too early?
I wonder if we're maybe going to start seeing, I'm sort of getting glimpses of, the Death Star plans that were showing up in the prequel Star Wars. Like, I wonder if we're going to start seeing, him sort of coming up with the idea for the rings this season, and maybe we start to actually see them in future seasons. I don't know.
Huck?
Yeah, I'm hoping we see like at least the forging, at the end of this season, because it's the rings of power, and that it's kind of our prime focus. So they should definitely at least get it started this season.
I don't know, Dave.
They should forge one ring per season. So they have like 37 seasons. They won't. I think annoying to my annoyance is the first season won't have any rings, and the season will end. The tower will be like mostly built, or if not,
that's what I was gonna
built.
say. Shit.
and that's when they'll introduce it'll be like the last scene where it's like, oh, this is our new friend, and then it's a silver-haired, sexy vampire-looking motherfucker.
It's gonna be
Matt Smith. This is Balron.
I fully think that too.
So, which leaves in question: what kind of conflict are we going to see come to a head at the end of this season?
Yeah, sorry.
There's gonna be, I think, if they do a good job, there'll be a lot of tension with people being like some people are going to be like, this dude's not on the level, right? When like Sauron shows up, they're like, I don't know about this guy. And a lot of other people are like, I don't know. He's giving us these sweet, powerful rings. Like, he seems pretty cool, and then he's like, we should make some for men too. And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then,
Yeah, we have to really see where these people of power that end up getting the rings get into those seats of power, right? Like Galadriel's not in a spot where people would be like, oh, you know what? Let's give one of these fucking rings to her. She's just like...
Okay, let me ask you guys a question then. There was a sequence in the second episode where the dwarf king is talking to the prince, and he says, he basically describes that something is going on behind the scenes, and they open up a box, and you don't get to see what's in the box. What do you guys think is in the box?
What's in the box?
It's the Arkenstone, right? Like,
it's Arkenstone, you think? I thought it was.
No, I would.
I thought it would be too.
It's the wrong place, right?
I thought it would be Mithril, to be honest.
Oh, you think they just discovered Mithril?
Yeah.
And that's why they went to Khazad-dûm, though. It was like, this place is full of fucking Mithril.
I thought they found it in Khazad-dûm. I feel like they're gonna rewrite things and be like, we've been digging here and look, we found this fucking. Look at this. You can't break it.
Are they actually? Do you think gonna do like they're gonna show the whole fall of Khazad-dûm and stuff like that?
I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, totally.
I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that would be fucking awesome.
Just watching a Balrog just smiting dwarves left and right.
I saw in one of the trailers that you see a Balrog and it looks like the Lord of the Rings one.
There should still be a fair amount of Balrogs around at this time.
But are they up on the Earth level? I thought they would be more down.
I mean, they're the same species as Sauron and Gandalf. They can do whatever they like.
That's fair.
And it's not like elves can fight them, but that's like humans battling elves. This is, there are tiers to Lord of the Rings.
I definitely want to see more of the dwarves. Like we got little glimpses of them in the second episode, but I hope we get to see more of them because I really like that. That whole conversation about them having to sing to to the stones
Yeah,
for that
resonating.
vibration. I think that's neat. I hope they do that. I assume they're going to, because they have an amazing composer. Like they have Bear McCreary doing music. Why wouldn't they do something like that? And
There's
then
probably going to be something with like mithril being exchanged between the elves and the dwarves, because the rings look like they're made of.
I was wondering about that.
Something else they find in Khazad-dûm. It's not just mithril. It's some other. Maybe mithril is just what they call the silver or whatever. But
maybe they're gonna do like
True
vibranium thing where everything's just sort of combined into that one element for the people.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium, exactly. They're not gonna even call it mithril. It's just gonna be unobtainium for now. Like Hawk, we were thinking like maybe what they find is mithril in
I caught
the
that
mines.
part.
And like maybe that's how the dwarves are going to be.
It had a particular glow to it in that. So,
but when they opened up the box, there was a glow, right? Maybe that's what mithril.
That's the first thing I thought was the Arkenstone from The Hobbit.
And do all elven blades glow when there are orcs nearby? Is that all elven?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I can't remember.
we don't know. We're never. It's not just Glamdring also glows when orcs are nearby, which is Gandalf's sword.
Oh man.
Because Glamdring has a companion sword.
I can't remember. It's crazy to think that there are 22 leads on this show, and we've only met a portion of them in the first 2 episodes. Yeah. Like we haven't met the Queen of Numenor. We haven't met the Isildur, who's the Prince of Numenor. I assume there's a king there. Maybe, I don't know. He might be dead. Oh no, he has to be alive because he has to fight in that last age, in that last battle.
Numenor.
Is that his name? Numenor? I can't remember.
Isildur and his heir?
And his dad? Wait, is Isildur the son?
Isildur's heir.
Anyway.
Isildur is the one, is the son.
Yeah, the son, yeah. I assume his father is going to be a big part of the show too. Although I don't think they've mentioned him as being cast. God, I don't even know what else we could talk about. Like this, like visually, I think this show's stunning. I think audibly.
Isildur has been cast for the Rings of Power.
Yeah, he's in the next episode. He's the prince.
He's the guy in the ship, right?
Yeah, he was the one in the ship. He's supposed to be at this point. I was watching a behind the scenes thing, and they're like, at this point, he's sort of like, "What's my place in the world? I want to be a pilot. I want to be a sailor," or something like that. I was like, okay.
Has Numenor? But Numenor hasn't fallen yet. Then
because
Sauron causes Numenor to fall because Isildur's grandfather, I think, goes to invade Valinor, and that doesn't go well.
I think that would be an amazing 3rd season, like see Numenor just destroyed. Like that would be.
Yeah, they literally fall into the sea.
Mm-hmm. Like Atlantis. That could be an amazing 3rd season.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, the show's so
many.
Good.
There's so many possibilities. We've only seen like just a fraction of what they have.
It is November this year where the Fall of Numenor, the book, is coming out. So if you are interested in, I don't have a affiliate link, but go get it. Fuck.
Spend some money, goddammit.
God, yeah, do it. Anything else? Like, I don't even know where else we could go. We talked about pretty much everything. I don't really want to talk about the fucking controversy about.
Screw people.
The non-controversy because the casting for the Harfoots is perfect.
Perfect, right?
In fact, if you want to bitch about anything, bitch about the light-skinned Harfoots.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's just racist, being racist, right? It's not about anything that
Let me read the quote from the book. The Harfoots, the most numerous of Hobbit strains, were also the smallest. They had nut-brown skin and hair. They loved hill lands and often enjoyed the company of dwarves. These Harfoots were the first of the Hobbit people to cross over the Misty Mountains and enter Eriador. Fuck yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh.
It's just so weird seeing people go so hard at it. It's like
it's like their identity has been like just destroyed. Like fucking hell.
But it's the exact same people that had issue with female superheroes. It's the exact same people that had issues with Star Trek becoming too woke. Like
Star Trek was always
same
woke.
people. I know. It's the exact same people that complain about like the internet is just a place for idiots to complain.
My brother-in-law got in this big long fight with someone on that was that was commenting on IGN's article about the casting and stuff. And he's like, you know what? I the thing I couldn't get behind was the casting. It just didn't. I wish it was more faithful to the books. I was like, what? You think they should have cast real elves? They're not real. None of these things are real. And then he's like, you know what? You obviously don't know the books. And I was sitting there like,
yep, that's it. That's a perfect way of shutting somebody down. Oh, you don't know the books.
And part of me was sitting there like, do I put this quote? Just put it there for him? Like.
I did post a thing earlier in my Discord about the time, when somebody decided to mansplain space to an astronaut, and
that was amazing. Like she was literally doing
Gaiman, like so much of the casting in Sandman, right? And people are trying to give Neil Gaiman shit, and it's like he wrote the fucking thing.
Yeah. Someone, I literally saw a Twitter thread where someone was like, "Well, you obviously weren't a fan of the original." He's like, he's like, look at the cover, friend. Look at the cover. Oh, not Hawk. Shells, you should watch Sandman if you haven't watched it. It's amazing.
Okay, I've heard it's good. It's on the list.
It is. Just put it at the top of that list. Good. Just watch it now.
Okay.
Not watch it now. Watch it after the show. I'm really excited for this show. Like the purpose of this was, should people watch this? Should people watch something? Is it not worth the time? What do you guys think?
1,000 yeses.
1,000 yeses.
Watch this. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, they put the craft behind it is incredible. Just the craft behind it alone, and that it's like the buildings and the sets that they've done.
Yeah, it's made with love.
Yeah. It is, and a little bit of copying of the movies. Dave, what do you think?
I'm not going to tell you to watch it until it's done.
That's fair.
Because it might be terrible.
But has it intrigued you enough to watch watch? I mean,
I'll probably keep watching it. Yeah.
This definitely it's the fantasy show I watch right now. Like this is the show that I'm excited for, other than The Witcher. If it's not like I'm really excited for The Witcher, but I'm also really excited for this because this is a intriguing story that I don't know. And The Witcher has been pretty faithful to the books, and this is a part that hasn't been written yet. They're not fully written for Lord of Middle Earth. I don't want to say Lord of the Rings because I'm not going to call it the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. That's a fucking stupid name. Yeah. Other than that, I'm looking forward to. Is it every Friday we're gonna get one?
Yeah, every Friday.
When season
for
2?
6 more weeks. So
when season 2? I don't think they've started filming season 2, but I have a hard time believing it's not going to be out next year. Like they're not going to just like hoof it with all the money and be like, here's dump trucks of money, go film it now.
Well, usually like an investment like this is like it was like when they filmed the original trilogy for the Lord of the Rings and that, it was like, they committed the money to 3 films and that, so it's like, back to back to back, they were just going to keep filming and that. I suspect that's going to be the same thing with the series.
Well, it's more efficient too, right? Because you get to keep sets built and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay actors to go live wherever they're filming.
Well,
you've got them locked down into this role for the next 5 years. So
yeah, they've also moved production out of New Zealand for the second seasons moving forward. Like they wanted the look of Lord of the Rings for the first one, but they wanted to scale back. It's too expensive to ship everyone to New Zealand. It's much easier because these are all British actors to just keep them in their homelands and film there. It will begin filming the second season in a couple of weeks. So there you go. I can see it happening again next 8 episodes. Let's see. They could probably finish filming that by the end of the year. Beginning of next year.
Yeah, so maybe at the same time this year, the same time next year, like end of the summer.
I could see that. This is a summer event show for them. Fuck yeah. Just have Paper Girls season 2 come out before it, and I'll be happy. Watch Paper Girls, everyone. Watch it.
Have we gotten a confirmation on that yet?
No, they still haven't said anything. Even Sandman, they haven't said anything.
I know.
Oh, I mean, Neil Gaiman said that he was pretty sure they're not going to get a second season because it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter if they were the biggest show for like 3 months.
No, he said if it's not for over a month, you don't know. That's what he said. I was, fuck. That'd make me so sad.
I mean, they could have released the show more slowly, like everyone else is doing now.
Yeah. Did they do that? Do they do week by weeks on Netflix?
No,
No.
not usually. But Netflix knows the binge model is worse for them, even though it's what we want. It's what we all want.
The good thing about
they created the model. So.
True. The good thing about Paper Girls is that they saw a bump in all of the books, like way higher than they had seen for years. Like it's been done for, I want to say, at least 3 or 4 years now, the graphic novel. So to see that it's bumped like I think 4 times the amount that it normally people are buying it.
That's incredible.
That's a good sign. And BKV needs the money so you can make more stuff. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for talking about Lord. Is there anything else you want to say before we go? No. Maybe the next one we'll do. We'll figure out something for the next one. Maybe it's a music.
We'll come back to it in that because, like Dave said, in that
we'll talk about it at the end of the season.
We're just at the beginning of this, So we'll see, like maybe at the end of the season, and that way I'll come back and give our reviews.
Maybe Tolkien only had albino acorns in his neighborhood. That's what Harcroft wrote. Oh, Harcroft. Anyway, we're gonna go. Thanks for coming and listening to us. Thanks you guys for coming on and talking. Sorry, Dave, about not telling you earlier. But it was a good talk. I'm really excited about the show. I'm looking forward to learning more about this time in Middle Earth. So for all of us at Geeks with Kids, we'll see you later. Wait, should I play another one of these audio clips? And remember, if you're bitching about these characters, these actors in it, they are... Oh no, it didn't work. Oh my God, hold on.
They're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters.
There we go. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you later. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye. Well, that's it for us this week on Geeks with Kids. If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at podcast@geekswithkids.ca. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekswithkids. Follow us on Twitter at geekswithkidscn. Check out our pics on Instagram at geekswithkids. And you can find all of this good stuff on our website at www.geekswithkids.ca. So if you like what you hear, why don't you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting app. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.